Dr. Riley, you've probably been asked this before. Do you think we're going to have fall sports?
We're planning on it.
Okay.
We're going to plan for it and hope we're going to have fall sports. That's our goal.
Right. My daughter's nervous about not playing soccer.
We have it right now. We and Clifton will be getting to everyone pretty soon, but we're planning on getting started either late July or early August.
Okay, good, super. That's great.
All right, why don't we get started? Can I get a motion to return to the public session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. We are back in the public session. Can we stand for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome. Happy end of school year to all. It certainly was a challenging school year, but we are done. We're off to the summer. We have a busy summer of activities, and then before you know, it'll be coming back to school. Can I get a motion to? Oh, by the way, there's no presentations this evening on the agenda. Typically, we do have a presentation. We don't have any presentations. We have just regular board business without any presentations. Could I get an approval of the minutes for our June 11th meeting?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Those are now part of our record. Donna, correspondence, and I know we have several.
Yes, there are several. There is an email from Mrs. Dowling regarding the high school graduation. A thank you note from Kathy Watkins. 2 letters regarding the employment of paraprofessionals. And then we had 4 pieces of correspondence regarding racial justice and diversity within the district.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. We'll turn to the report of the superintendent, Dr. Varley.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. As you most likely know, the governor released a 104-page road back report on Friday. The New Jersey plan provides broad outlines that we will use to guide us in crafting our plan and modifying our programs. The admin team has formed committees to work through important areas, and we will be reaching out to other stakeholders to participate in the process. Our goal is to announce the plan by August 3rd, and as much as possible, we will provide the community with updates along the way. To help us in our planning, I urge you to fill out the survey I sent out on June 17th. So far, we've only had 334 responses. I will resend it tomorrow morning. Please make sure to fill it out and tell your friends. I will be following up with an email tomorrow to our parent population. The district is excited for our graduation on July 8th. We have 2 graduations, so we're going to celebrate twice. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend because I was in Florida last week and have been caught up in the newly announced quarantine. On July 7th, with a rain date of July 14th, we will host a senior picnic to celebrate our graduating seniors, and it is sure to be a great day. The Berkeley Heights School District has formed a diversity committee. I will read the brief specifics here. The mission of the Berkeley Heights District Diversity Committee is to support the GLHS, CMS, and elementary level diversity committees to celebrate the diversity of our community and foster inclusiveness and acceptance through a three-tiered approach: celebration, communication, and education. The structure of the committee will consist of the superintendent, a member of the Board of Education, 2 members each from the GLHS, CMS, and elementary diversity committees, and 3 parents. The diversity committee will serve as a forum to discuss and, whereas necessary, coordinate building level initiatives, plan larger scale community centered events, and meet to hear district level and community concerns related to diversity, equity, and inclusiveness issues. In addition, the district level committee will liaise with the Berkeley Heights Township Diversity Committee and the Board of Education. From the district committee mission statement, you can see that we are also adding building level diversity committees that will oversee individual celebrations of diversity, organize the large inclusive events, coordinate speakers, roundtables, and serve as a forum to discuss curriculum and instructional practice. The district will also be developing new best practices for hiring in order to expand our pool of diverse candidates, adding implicit bias training for staff and administration, and doing a broad curricular review. We have taken a few small concrete steps this year, roundtables, reviewing reading lists to add diverse authors, etc. But it is my intention that the building and district diversity committees will do much of the heavy lifting in this area. The committees at all levels include community and student voices, and if you are interested in volunteering, please let me know. I have received much feedback from the community over the past several weeks regarding diversity in Berkeley Heights Public Schools, and I assure you that you have been heard and that the district is committed to diversity and inclusion. Thank you for all your support during these exceptional times, and have a great summer.
Great.
And that is it for the superintendent's report.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from the board on Melissa's report this evening? Okay. Moving forward, liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports this evening?
I have some. The Environmental Commission continues to work on Sustainable Jersey. At Ed Services, I announced last month that Terry Foppert, the superintendent, is resigning. Tomorrow night at our meeting, we will appointing Mike Kowalski, the assistant superintendent, as acting superintendent, and we will probably commence a search sometime in late September. On Saturday, I attended the New Jersey School Board's Delegate Assembly. There were 2 resolutions up for review. One was for filling a vacant seat on a regional board. At present, that vacant seat is filled by the board. The sending districts down south were requesting that that seat should be filled by the municipality represented by the board member that has left the position, and that was passed. School boards will advocate for a change in that legislation. The other resolution was for the send-receive districts. At this point, if the sending district population in the school drops below 10%, the sending district does lose privileges to sit on the board and have a vote. They are asking to lower that, or in some way at least allow the sending district to have input into the district, and that was also approved. And New Jersey school boards will seek a change in that legislation also. That's it. Any
Okay,
questions?
thank you, Helen. Any other liaison reports tonight? Okay, Donna, facilities.
Our custodial staff has been working during the school closure, and they've made great progress in getting the schools cleaned and sanitized. They've also been working on regular maintenance projects. One of the projects that we've undertaken is a replacement of our regular lighting with LED lighting. We were able to take advantage of the grants offered by New Jersey Clean Energy, and the cost of the light bulbs and the fixtures was totally reimbursed. So the only cost is our own labor costs to replace the lighting. And we've done this at the administration building. We've done it at the exterior of Columbia, the exterior of the high school, and we will continue this work this summer, the exteriors of the other buildings, and then some interior work at Columbia. We're also continuing to work on the rooftop fan replacements, and we are in the planning stages for making whatever facility changes have to be made in response to the opening of schools. And that's it.
Okay, great. Thanks, Donna. Any questions on facilities for Donna? Okay, moving on. As we've done with all of our remote Zoom meetings, we will hold one citizens hearing. Anybody who wishes to address the board on either any of the agenda items that we have on our agenda or any other topic that they'd like to discuss, all they need to do is raise your hand, use the raise your hand functionality on the on Zoom. I will call on you, we will unmute you, and then you will be able to speak. The first person that I see is Dan McGovern. Good evening, Dan.
Oh, hi, Doug. There we go. I'm sorry. The screen blacked out for a second. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening. I'm Dan McGovern, teacher of physics at Governor Livingston High School and the president of the Berkeley Heights Education Association. I appreciate the opportunity to make a statement. I speak tonight on a few separate issues impacting the employees of this district, but before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the incredible work the teachers, secretaries, paraprofessionals, occupational and physical therapists, nurses, media specialists, interpreters, guidance counselors, child study team members, athletic trainer, coaches, club advisors, custodians, maintenance, and transportation personnel of this district performed during remote learning. Virtually overnight, we implemented a remote learning plan that was meaningful and valuable to the students it was designed to serve. I would also like to thank the parents and guardians for their at-home support necessary to make remote learning successful. Additionally, I would like to thank the district administrators for their support and guidance since our first day of remote learning on March 17th. I know I am not alone in those who enjoyed and looked forward to Assistant Superintendent Scott McKinney's weekly email motivating us to keep going. First tonight, I am deeply troubled by the recent actions of the board to deny payment for coaches, paraprofessionals, and bus drivers should the district have to revert back to remote learning. What message does this send to these groups of employees who, while working remotely, created normalcy and accountability at a time when the world was turned upside down? Why would the board want to deny students the opportunity to have these amazing people work with them if we need to go remote? They are the fabric of the educational community that provide normalcy and consistency at a time when it is most needed. Now, due to the outrage of community members this past Friday, the COVID-19 clause was removed from the employment contracts of our paraprofessionals, many of whom live in this community. The district claimed that the inclusion of this language on the agenda draft was an error. The superintendent affirmed this error with me over the weekend via email. I'm pleased to see that the district acknowledged and corrected this mistake in a very timely fashion. In the spirit of moving forward and working together, the BHEA will accept this explanation. However, this is not the first time that the pandemic was potentially going to be used as a reason to terminate the paraprofessionals. That notion first came up from the district on or around March 11th. All of our members contribute to the daily operation of school and should be considered in every aspect of their learning plan, whether in person or remotely. I am truly disheartened by the board's decision to move forward with applying the COVID-19 clause to other subsets of employees, and I'm hopeful the community will once again speak up to this injustice. Second, the district initially ordered all remaining 12-month employees who are working incredibly productively at home to physically return to work on July 1st. I am pleased to report that Dr. Varley has clarified key components of that directive to ensure the safe return of staff throughout the summer and has delayed the return until July 6th, giving employees and administrators more time to plan their safe return. As Florida, Texas, Arizona, and other southern states have shown, the pandemic is far from over, and we need to be smart with our reopening plan to avoid a surge of infections here. Third, I would like to mention an agreement the board and BHEA have entered regarding healthcare. Entering the agreement was not something that the BHEA desired, but rather recognized was the responsible decision to make. In good faith, the BHEA agreed to accept a difference card on a one-year trial basis so that both parties may benefit from cost savings while maintaining the current level of coverage. The BHEA took a leap of faith in partnership with the board as a way to offset increasing costs during a difficult time. The BHEA expects that the board will honor its commitment by working between the Difference Card program and our staff to ensure not only a smooth transition, but timely and efficient processing of member reimbursement and handling of member issues, since the Difference Card program has not earned high marks among many of its current and former clients. It is important to note that as of the day before this program begins, many employees have yet to receive their new Signa card or the Difference Card. Attempting to terminate employees due to a pandemic that they did not create nor mismanage, and drastically changing how our healthcare works in the middle of a global pandemic presents additional challenges to our members at a time of great stress and anxiety. The board continues to choose to spend a significant amount of taxpayer dollars on legal fees, fighting the BHA on matters that are on shaky grounds in terms of principles and morals. Instead of fighting us, I urge the board to work with us in safeguarding our employees in these turbulent times, and further urge the Board of Education to embark on a morally correct path by no longer inserting the COVID-19 clause into any contract. Lastly, the governor released his reopening plan on Friday that Dr. Varley mentioned. The BHEA has been included in preliminary talks with administration on the district's plan for September, and we are pleased with Dr. Varley's email over the weekend that we will continue to be part of these important discussions with other community stakeholders where appropriate. Thank you.
Great, Dan. Thanks very much for your comments. The next person I see is Emily Ramos.
Hello, thank you. You guys
Emily,
can hear me? Okay.
Emily, good evening.
Hi, thank you guys so much. My name's Emily Ramos. I'm the parent of 2 public school kids and a third who will be entering the system in a few years. I first want to thank you, the leaders and the representatives who have spoken about the importance of our school district addressing how we approach racial injustice in our schools. In particular, Doug Reinstein, who has taken an extraordinary amount of time to listen to both our concerns surrounding the systemic racism in our community and also brainstorm possible solutions for creating a more racially just school system. Because of these conversations, we feel confident that our values and visions as Berkeley Heights parents align closely with that of the Board of Ed. Earlier today, our parents submitted a letter to the Board of Ed. In it, we proposed a parent-led subcommittee whose mission is to support our school district leaders in working toward 4 main objectives. The first is creating a diversified teaching, administration, and central office staff that's both highly effective and reflective of our community. The second is developing curricula that's robust, inclusive of diverse perspectives, and explicitly addresses social issues surrounding race and equality. The third is sourcing diversity experts for frequent teacher and administrator trainings to mitigate implicit biases and engender a sense of responsibility in the staff. And the fourth is building partnerships with families and students that encourages ongoing and open dialogue to problem solve. We're excited to work alongside our school district in moving these changes along efficiently and effectively and with great urgency. We have established resources and connections across the state of New Jersey that support our district's move toward a more inclusive, proactively anti-racist system. The plan laid out tonight by the superintendent for a school-wide diversity committee sounds like a great start, but we still feel the subcommittee is important to drive change and measure progress. We're asking that the Board of Ed move forward with the approval of our subcommittee. We believe that the more we collaborate, the greater chance we will have to bring about short-term progress and eventually reach our long-term goals. Thank you.
Emily, thanks very much for your comments and for the proposal that you shared with the board. Next person I see is Kyle Brogdon.
Hi, can you hear me?
Kyle, good evening. Yes, we can.
Oh, great, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kyle Brogdon. I'm a 14-year resident of the community. And so I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak and share some concerns. I'm here speaking on behalf of a constituent of Black families from the Berkeley Heights community. We wanted to ensure that as the call for meaningful and lasting changes to address racism and racial injustices in our school system and community are being made, that the voices of Black families are heard and represented. So Emily, thank you for presenting up front, and we support your efforts as we go forward. For us, the pain points are our children. We've faced numerous incidents of racism in schools and communities, which have had long-term social, mental, and emotional impacts. For us, it boils down to the inequities and failures within our schools to adequately address issues and to make our children feel safe at all times and valued. Our children have experienced inequities in the education curricula where they learn about Thomas Edison and Alexander Graham Bell, but not Lewis Latimer and Granville T. Woods. Inequities in their efforts to promote change when they wanted to start a women's empowerment group, only to initially be told it was too political, but at the same time, there was already a young Republicans club. Inequities in disciplinary policy where if you're late for school, the punishment is swift and more severe than when a student uses a racial slur like the. And lastly, having our children feel afraid of the backlash for speaking up about incidents of bigotry and racism. They tend to go into survival mode just to get through the school year, through their 4 years, and keep the pain and humiliation to themselves. So based on these inequities, we feel strong the need to address racial justice reform within our community and our schools. We've outlined 4 key areas that we would like to begin focusing on with the Board of Ed. So the first area is training and education. We would like to create an environment where racism and racial insensitivities, are not tolerated and where accurate representation of Black history is in curriculum. We want to focus on policy with the Board of Ed, ensure that there's clear accountability for all administrators and staff on creating an environment where racism is not tolerated and diversity is encouraged. We want to help focus on recruitment and retention, where we're establishing a culture and work environment that is attractive to Black and other diverse candidates. And finally, while we are here, representation, ensuring once again that voices and representation of the Black constituents are heard by the Board of Ed and included in the formation of committees and other solutions to address these very important issues. Lastly, I would say we presented a letter to the Board of Ed along with a detailed PowerPoint presentation detailing some suggestions and ideas, which include metrics and measurements for these priorities. I and others like me are ready to work with you, but our voices need to be part of the process. And we need to be willing to meet each other where we are in this journey. Once again, thank you guys for your time, and I appreciate the job ahead working.
Great, Kyle. Thank you very much for your comments. The next person is Ramya Kasturi. Hi, Ramya. Good evening.
Hi. Sorry. Can you see me?
We can, and we can hear you too. Good evening. Thanks for joining.
Great. Good evening. Hi, everyone. My name is Ramya Kasturi. I have a first grader and a fourth grader here in Berkeley Heights. I just wanted to say that the road to creating an actively anti-racist school system is not going to be easy. We are going to argue. We are going to disagree. We are going to be emotional. Such is the expectation when the ask is so extraordinary. But there are a couple of things that we can do to make the process a little less challenging. First, we can listen. We can truly try to understand what a person is asking and why she is asking that question. Second, we can be sincere. We don't have to be defensive or dismissive. We can also be objective. We don't always have to rely on an opposing viewpoint, even if that viewpoint is that of the majority. We can be professional. We can be empathetic. And most importantly, we should always be respectful. Now is not the time to label anyone, especially in a derogatory manner. We have to be very careful at this time in history as to how we interact with each other so that we don't become the very people that symbolize the need for change. Thank you for your time.
Great, Ramya, thanks very much. Is there anybody else who wants to address the board? I do not see anybody else's hand being raised. Okay, I'm going to close the citizens hearing. I want to make one just comment. I have had the opportunity over the last probably week or 10 days or so to talk to Emily, to Ramya, to Kyle, and to people on the Berkeley Heights Diversity Committee. And clearly there is a passion being built to improve a lot of things in our community that the speakers have just spoke about. And we are committed to that. Several proposals have been shared with the board. We have some work to do as a board to understand those and figure out the best way for us to move forward with this group. It looks to be that there's a large population of people who have passion around this and want actions, not just words, to improve that. And I can assure everybody that this is a priority of the board. We've had discussions at the board level. I've had a number of conversations with Dr. Varley, who earlier this evening you heard her outline our plans. For the groups that have shared that, give us a little time to digest this, to absorb this, and figure out the best way to respond to you. But I want to assure you that we hear you loud and clear. We are thrilled to have your partnership with us, and we jointly believe that there's a lot of improvement that can occur in Berkeley Heights over time. I share Ramya's belief that it's not something that's going to happen overnight. Hopefully there are both short-term goals and long-term achievements that we can get there, but I believe as a community we can do this together. So thanks in advance for all of those. Moving forward to administration, could I have a recommendation to move the administration items?
I'll move administration 13A through H.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Could I have all the board members go off of mute so we can do a roll call? Donna, roll call.
Mrs. Penna,
Yes.
Mr. D'Aquila,
Yes.
Mr. Joya,
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Casano,
Yes.
Dr. Christinino,
Yes.
Mrs. Kirsch,
Yes.
Mr. Reinstein,
Yes. Item 14, education.
Move 14A through F.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Penna,
Yes.
Mr. D'Aquila,
Yes.
Mr. Joya,
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Casano,
Yes.
Dr. Christinino,
Yes.
Mrs. Kirsch,
Yes.
Mr. Reinstein,
Yes. Item 15, personnel.
Move personnel items A through P.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Penna,
Yes.
Mr. D'Aquila,
Yes.
Mr. Joya,
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Casano,
Yes.
Dr. Christinino,
Yes.
Mrs. Kirsch,
Yes.
Mr. Reinstein,
Yes. Item 16, business.
Yes, I will move items 16A through L, but before I do that, I just want to make a comment on item H regarding the management fee to Pomptonian. I did have Donna check to make sure that Pomptonian did not apply for or receive PPE money, which is the Paycheck Protection Program from the federal government. And she got back to me this evening and said they did not. They did not qualify. I'm not sure why they didn't, but they did not. So I move items 16A through L.
And I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? And thank you, Chris. Roll call.
Mrs. Penna,
Yes.
Mr. D'Aquila,
Yes.
Mr. Joya,
Yes.
Ms. Riley,
Yes.
Mr. Casano,
Yes.
Dr. Christinino,
Yes.
Mrs. Kirsch,
Yes.
Mr. Reinstein?
Yes. 17, finance.
I will move 17A through D. I did review the bills this afternoon and everything looked in order.
Second?
Motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Penna?
Yes.
Mr. D'Aquila?
Yes.
Mr. Joya?
Yes.
Ms. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Casano?
Yes.
Dr. Chrisanino?
Yes.
Mrs. Kirsch?
Yeah.
Mr. Reinstein?
Yes. Is there any other business to come before the board this evening?
You know, Doug, I would just like to make a quick comment on the three speakers, Emily, Kyle, and Ramya. You know, I thought it was pretty impressive. We typically get complaints. They obviously took some time to put thought into a solution, which I love people that give solutions. So it's a group of people that want change, and not only that, they're giving us some ideas. And so I just think hats off and thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Dante. Any other business to come before the board? Not seeing any. I will take a motion to adjourn. Enjoy your summer, everyone, and we will see you back at our next meeting in August. Thanks and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.